I got something different for you today. I don't have an unboxing. I have an older amplifier in-house now for a little bit of testing. This is the Elemental Designs, otherwise known as ED 9.5. Holy cow, I am excited for this bad boy. Elemental Designs is a company that kind of went out of business about 4 or 5 years ago. Before then, I mean, they were one of the original, I guess you would call them a value brand. They weren't really high end, they weren't low end, they were kind of right in the middle, but they offered a lot of value for what you paid. These weren't huge money. I think these were, correct me if I'm wrong, right around 500 bucks new. You could have got them on the used market a couple of years ago for about $200. But ED is coming up in price now, so they're not going down, they're going up, which is a testament to what kind of value they offered. I've never owned an ED amp, so this is kind of a first for me. I've never had an ED product before, so I really don't have any experience. I'm just going on reputation from what I've heard from others, and a lot of people liked them when they were around. But right around when the economy crashed and we lost several brands and outlets for car audio, this was another one of those victims of that time. They were started back, I want to say 2002 is when ED originally started. They were originally kind of a box building company. You used to get your subwoofer boxes from them. They would build it, ship it to you, pretty affordable before the prefabs, as much as you see of them now. I mean, they were a lot more rare then. I mean, they were there, but there was so few options back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, now, I mean, God, you could go hop on Amazon and you could pretty much buy any box you want for 40 bucks. But that wasn't the case then when ED started. And then as their business grew, they started doing subwoofer drivers and amplifiers, and then the company was sold from its original owner, Ben Milne, in 2008, and that company jumped into the new leadership jumped into home audio products as well. So there were home subwoofers and speakers from ED you could buy in conjunction with the car audio products that they still made, like this. I'm excited to test this one out. These were rated, I believe, and again, I've had to kind of research a lot of this information. This was a amp that was rated at 4x100 watts RMS, and 4x175 at 2 ohms. And the subwoofer channel was rated up at 600 watts at 1 ohm. Now, the thing is, these were rated at 12.5 volts, not 14.4. They have an unregulated power supply, so I've gotten word these produce a lot more power than what they were rated for. So I'm excited. I mean, this is definitely by far the biggest amplifier I've ever had on this test bench. It's the biggest amplifier I've ever had in front of me, period. And I got into car audio when the surfboards were still popular. This is probably about the same size as I used to have an MA Audio HC402. Regardless of what you think of it, that thing was huge. This is probably about the same size. It's a lot nicer looking. I mean, this is a classy looking amp. You can see here you got a really nice Elemental Designs logo in there. Kind of a brushed aluminum, both with logo and the trim ring. This looks like it's a detachable nameplate. You have on side here 4 connections. Excuse me, this is a little ridiculous to kind of hold up in front of you here. So you can kind of see, if I can kind of get you a little bit clearer here, there we go. All sorts of you have your different connections here. You have your sub input channels 1 through 4 over here. You can do an input selector, so if you only have 2 RCAs outputs, you can run all 5 channels by flipping over here. That's how I'm going to run it because I'm too lazy to go hook up my other RCAs. So we're going to run just over on this way, but you could also do the 4 channels in which you would sub out to the subwoofer, or you could run all 6 RCA ins. You have your different gains, so you have gain control for channels 1 through 2 and 3 and 4, as well as over here for the sub. You have your low pass or high pass filter as well for each individual channel. You can band pass it. You also have over here, you have your crossover selection. So if you want to band pass, so what band passing means is that you have like whatever your low pass is, you could also set your high pass as well. So let's say you only wanted 50 hertz to play. So let's say you only wanted to have 50 hertz to 200 hertz. Well, you could adjust these two and you can have that happen. You could do that for any of the channels 1 through 4. And of course over in your sub channel, you of course have your low pass, your bass boost, interval gain control, and low pass or full. I was playing around with it yesterday. It doesn't really like to be on full. Keep it on low, otherwise you're going to get a little bit of distortion in there. These did have remote outputs. This one no longer came with it. This was a used one, and of course you can switch on or off whether or not you're going to use it with that. This amp is not mine. I did not pay for this. So this is the first test we're doing with an amp that I did not pay for. It wasn't donated to me, but a gentleman on the line, his tag name on caraudio.com is Boomin' Tahoe. This is his amp. He recently purchased it. He said, as a pit stop on its way of shipping to me, would I be willing to test it out, give it a once over, see what these really do, because I don't think one of these has ever been on an amp dyno. So we are going to do that. For your power and speaker connections over on this side, I've already got it hooked up, so unfortunately I'm not going to show you, but I will just let you know it is 0 gauge inputs for your power and grounds, and 8 gauge for your speaker outs. So, pretty solid amp. I'm excited to give it a run. Let's do this. Let's be the first. Let's break some ground, people, with the Elemental Designs 9.5 5-channel. thoughts on this Elemental Designs 9.5 amplifier. I don't usually use this term to describe an amp. I think personally it gets thrown around way too often nowadays, the term beast. You know, I mean, I've had people say to me that Boss amp I tested, that's a beast. I've had people look at different Orion amps, those are beasts, this is a beast, that's a beast, everything. Let me just say right now, this amp is a beast. You know, I mean, just check. I'm still kind of flabbergasted at the results. I mean, this isn't a new amp. I mean, this is an older amp, and I don't think I've ever seen with my own eyes a 1,000-watt sub-channel, 5-channel. You know, I haven't seen one. I mean, that MD Court we tested, not even close. And that was a little bit smaller than this one. This one, oh my God, blew that one out of the water. I did own at one point a Digital Designs D5.1000 that was rated at 1,000 watts in the sub-channel. I've got no doubt that it probably does its ratings. DD's good. And that one is like probably, you know, yay big on here. And this one, I can't even fit the amp in the whole frame here right now. That's how monstrous this thing is. I mean, normally I would be flipping around. Oh, I can't even. This thing is not light at all, and I'm not a little weakling here. So, holy cow, this is a beast. I mean, 1066 dynamic. That's great. A little bit less uncertified, right around 830. I have to look at the video to get you the exact number. Obviously, we saw over 600 plus dynamically at 2 ohms, uncertified 540 plus watts of clipping at 2 ohms, and the main channels. You know, interesting. I mean, it's rated 4x100 at 4 ohms. I was only able to get up to 98 watts at clipping out of the deal. Now, you might say, it doesn't do rated power. It's off by 2 watts. And this is 14.4 volts, not 12.5. Gotcha, ED. Got you. Well, let me just clarify. This test on the main channels was done at 40 hertz. When they designed this amp, they did not. I'm sure they probably were looking at a 1 kilohertz test on the main channels. That's easier on the amp to put out more wattage. So I do think it will do over that 100 watts. Now, interesting, it blew its 2 ohm number way out of the water at 4 ohm on the 4-channel mode. That did over 220 plus watts uncertified, and the uncertified number, I have to look at the video to get it. You'll see it in the final results, but it does well overrated at 2 ohms. So meaning, I mean, this is probably, if you bridged both channels, or all 4 channels on the 4-channel side, and you ran the sub channel down to 1 ohm, you're gonna get probably 1,900 watts out of this bad boy. That is awesome. So, big thanks to Boom and Tahoe from the web forums for sending me over this to test out. Normally I'm buying my own, and he said, check it out, and wow. Thanks again, buddy. This is awesome. If you see one on the market, buy it. You know, if you want to run a 5-channel, if you see a used one of these comes up, buy it. Even if it's got some issues, send it out, get it fixed. These are worth it. They're worth having them live on. This was a great amp. The internals, they're amazing, and I think ED did a great job. God rest her soul. I'm speechless. This was great. Loved it.